so I started to charge for my coaching to get enough money to do the next program. And I did it. And then it just happened that way.
So you always had enough money for the next one from your coaching?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Blessed.
Fantastic.
Absolutely blessed.
So is there anything else you want to share with us about the coaching experience? So you went through the program. So
I went through the program and knew that this is the path, knew that this is my purpose, to connect people to themselves. And it wasn't so clear for me then. It's much clearer for me now what I'm doing. And it's been a process of learning who I want to work with, what I want to create for myself and for other people. And that is an ongoing process. I believe, that mastery is what we all want to attain, but it's a process that's going to take some time, and who knows, it might go in a different direction. So I did the full program, and I was working.
So how did you get clients at that point?
Yeah, okay.
It was a difficult economy. People are not really aware of what coaching is in Dubai.
Yes.
How was that for you?
So if we start right back to fundamentals, after the fundamentals course, I was in a coffee shop and I saw a group of women crying because I could hear that their husbands had lost their jobs. And it was a very difficult time. My husband had just lost his job too. So I knew the pain that these women, the fear and the uncertainty about being in a country we love, but not having the right to stay here if we didn't have a job, and all the fears about having to move your family and go home maybe, which was no longer your home, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so it sounds a bit crazy, but I stood up, I went over and I said, I've heard what you're saying, I hope you don't mind, but I've listened to your conversation, and I'm a new coach, I'm in training, and I'd like to offer your husbands some coaching if they're interested, because at the time I was thinking, gosh, these husbands are sitting at home feeling devastated, and there's no one to talk to, and sometimes they don't want to share with their partner because of all the stress that it puts on their partner. And I'm making lots of assumptions here, but that was my gut.
But it's a starting point. Yeah. And you trusted your gut feeling.
I trusted my gut, and so I left my number with them on a scrappy piece of paper, and 2 husbands called me and said, I'm interested in having a sample session. And one of the women called me and said, my husband isn't, but I am. And so we did sample sessions, and initially I didn't charge. I just wanted to practice. This was in fundamentals. And we went ahead and we coached and we worked as a team, and it was having an impact on them, and it was having an impact on me, and I was learning and they were learning, and they were talking about it, and they started to tell other people, and I then decided I'm going to charge for this because I need to make the money to continue with this. There's no other way of me doing it, and that's how it began.
Wonderful. And you also shared with me once that you had a rule when you started coaching for the client to have several sample sessions with several coaches.
Yes.
And then decide who they want to be coached by.
Actually, that's grown from my confidence in the process of coaching and connecting the client to the coach and the coach to the client. I think it's important that people get a spread. They go and meet other coaches and have a sample session and see who's right for them. It's so important as you grow in confidence and the client starts to know about coaching, that they have a connection with their coach and that the right coach works with them. I do believe that people are brought together for a reason.
Yes.
So it takes courage to say, actually, no, I'm not right for you. And initially, especially when we're trying to build our practice, we say yes. And sometimes we feel, I don't really want to work with this client. So my rule now is, if you come for a sample session with me, I would love you to go for a sample session with other coaches before you make the decision.
Brilliant. And also it shows a lot of confidence in yourself and in the process and in the client,
Yeah.
and a lot of empowerment.
Right. That has grown though.
Yeah.
So 2 years down the line, I'm confident enough to say that about myself.
Yeah.
Initially, it was like,
It was.
oh, hallelujah, I've got a client. Yeah. That's what it felt like. Oh my goodness, I've got a client? Wow.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
And so how did it move from there with the clients, and like what do you consider to be a full list of clients for you? How do you define that?
Okay, so for me, and it really, really vamped up when I began certification.
Mm-hmm.
So I began certification, it is now, what month is it? May? I began I began certification last October,
Mm-hmm.
and everything vamped up there. So I had my 5 clients,
Mm-hmm.
and in that time between finishing the core curriculum and starting certification, I had worked with a number of clients. I think I had about 170 hours of working with people. And some people had moved on and some people had stayed with me all that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I had 5 people to begin the certification program with.
Mm-hmm.
And I set my intention initially at having 8.
Mm-hmm.
And then 8 came through word of mouth. I still don't have a business card or a website. It seems to happen word of mouth. So I put 8 as the number I wanted, and I got 8. And then I upped it to 15, and I got 15. And then I decided I wanted 20. So on my list of 15, I added 5 more spaces, empty spaces, and imagined writing the names in, and 5 more clients came.
Wow.
So for me, setting my intention is a hugely powerful tool for creation. And so as I'm thinking about this, it's not only setting my intention, I have to take action. So the action I took, particularly when I started certification, was to talk about what I love, to talk about this passion I have. All the time, wherever I am, I'm talking about coaching. Not as a, this is what a coach does, but just talking.
From the heart.
From the heart. What I believe about it. What's going on for them. Asking powerful questions. So instead of having coffee and saying, oh, you know, are you going shopping? You know, asking what's going on for you. Really what's going on for you. And maybe it was too much for some people, but I believed in this place of coaching and what it and the power of it. And so I started to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And I think that talking out loud about it and talking about how what I believe and my connection to it and the power of it makes people interested.
Yeah, yeah. Business is booming, things are coming on very nicely. You have a full list of clients, which is for you 20 clients.
Yeah.
You have a waiting list. You work on referrals, you don't have a credit card, you don't have a website. So that sounds really remarkable. And in your success workshop, you shared with us that the people who come from the why are the few that stand above the rest of the crowd and are more successful. People like Apple and all those innovative companies come from the why. They know why they do what they do. So why do you do what you do?
Great question. Why do I do what I do? I believe that when people are connected truly to their essence, that everything is possible. I believe when they're on the journey to know their life purpose, that life changes for them. When they connect to their values, when they follow what really matters to them, then they succeed in what they do. With hard work and all that success means, sacrifice. But it just takes you to a different place when you believe right in the center of you.
And we all want to succeed as coaches.
Absolutely. And my intention, and that's why the Success Workshop was created, because I think we all need to succeed, because as coaches, we are so important in the changes that are happening in the world.
Exactly.
And so if we get trained and lose our passion,
Yeah.
then we aren't
It's a
following our
loss for the
purpose.
whole world, really. Really, the world is losing part of its force to change.
Right. But as a new community here, connecting to your why is the first step of success.
Mhm.
Without that, success will just be maybe monetary. So you connect to the why, but there are other steps to success, as we are all entrepreneurs and we need to learn the business of growing our business as well. So our community, if we look at our CTI network at the moment, we're reaching out to each other and hopefully going to create some really positive business strategy for learning about how to move forward with this.
So did you do that? Did you have to learn about business management, you know, the technical parts? Did you look online? What did you do to learn how to manage your business?
Yeah, well, so maybe 20 clients is not an apple, okay? but for me, it's a busy life managing my 3 children and my husband with that amount. Plus, I'm doing some workshops. So I am going online. I am going onto webinars. I am downloading information about how to grow your business. So I am very interested in that entrepreneurial part of the business as well. It has to come from my heart, but the practicalities have to be there too.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't be in the clouds. We need to have our feet firmly on the ground with the fact that, you know, if we want to make this business successful, we have to put certain things in place.
Yeah, we have to know how to market it,
Yeah.
how to do the sales conversation, where to come from,
Yes.
who to talk to, all that, how to manage the money, the receipts, you know, all of that
Right.
stuff.
And that's some of the things a lot of us coaches hate doing.
Yeah.
We think selling has to be a very harsh.
Inhumane.
Yeah. But actually, if you're coming from the why place, selling is easy.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's just a connection with another human being,
Yeah.
with the belief that you have something to offer them
Right.
that will enrich their
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well
Fantastic.
said.
Thank you. Well, we're almost coming to the end of our time, so I'm just going to ask you if there's anything that you'd like to say to the Dubai coaches out there watching us.
Connect to your why. Know why you're doing what you're doing. If you love it, talk about it. If this is what you want to do, keep doing it. Keep persisting with it. It's important work. It sends a tingle down me every time I talk about this or meet with other coaches and I see the passion here. Let's not let this go. Let's build up our community and support each other in any way we can.
Beautiful. Well said. Thank you so much, Mary, for your time.
You're welcome.
And thank you for your excitement and enthusiasm and bubbliness, as I call it. The other day I told you, you're just a bunch of bubbles for me. There's always this happiness and there's this bubbliness and this positivity going on about you, and which is, I find, is the most attractive thing to you. So
Thank you.
good luck with your career, and thank you so much. And hopefully we'll meet again in another interview with another one of our coaches.
Lovely. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Okay.